Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is What If Naruto Found Scroll of Parents and Learned in his Bloodline Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Finally, I got it. The boy known as Naruto Uzumaki shouted as he arrived at the designated clearing that Mizuki told to go to. His task was to steal the forbidden scroll and learn a jutsu from it. When he opened, he cried out in annoyance that the first jutsu was a clone jutsu, his worst technique. That was when he noticed his own name was in the scroll. It seemed that the name itself was a blood seal the Iruka talked about once. Yeah, he pays attention when things are interesting. So he cut his finger and out popped a scroll addressed to him, but he just put it away for the moment as he had a jutsu to learn, and about an hour later, he had gotten down the shadow clone jutsu. It did not seem that anyone was coming yet, so he opened the scroll addressed to him and read the contents. Dear Naruto, I am so sorry that I could not be with you in your early years of life. No doubt that Sarutobi did his best to protect you, but I am guessing the idiots in the council hampered that. Oh, by the way, my name is Kushina Uzumaki. Your mother. I died giving birth to you too early I would assume, but it is not because of you. It is because the Kyuubi no Kitsune has come to our village and the stress of that pushed me to an early birthing. Now there is something you must be told because I think the old monkey has not told you these important things for your own protection. 1. Your father is Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash. Yep, your dad is the 4th Hokage, please don't let it get to you head. 2. He had to choice but to seal that beast into a newborn baby that night because it could not be killed or contained into anything normal. Please don't hate your father for this, you would have done the same as well because I don't think you could ask someone else to give up their child. I too was reluctant. 3. The old monkey may not know this but you have 2 bloodlines and I am guessing the Kyuubi's power is holding them back. One is called the Uzugan and the other is a unique chakra-based bloodline. In the seal below, is information about these 2, please read them my little maelstrom and good luck in life. Your mother. Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto leaned his head against the tree he was next to and stared off into space. His mom didn't hate him like he thought, but his father was the source of all the pain he had in life so far. It was a bit much, but he could deal with it just like everything else thrown at him. The real question was, how the hell was going to talk to the monster in his gut? It must have heard his thoughts because he was within his subconscious. To put it bluntly, his mind was a freaking sewer of all things. It annoyed him but he had to plow on through the ankle-high waters, at least he hoped it was water, to red glow at the end. He soon came upon a huge cage of some sort that also had a small paper seal on it that seemed to be a lock. Okay, I am guessing that this is the Kyuubi's cage. You are correct boy, said a booming voice and behind the bars came a set of huge razor-like teeth and 2 big red eyes. Okay. I have a few questions for you. Will you unlock my bloodlines for me and why did you attack in the first place? The great fox sighed and said, because of a genjutsu, that someone I thought was dead, was used on me. The genjutsu made me watch how he killed my mate and my kits, and that drove me insane so much that he was able to control my actions and well, you know the rest. I see, so who was it anyway? It was Madara Uchiha but he did not seem himself, was more evil. Now on to you other question, since I want to see my family again and to unlock your 3 bloodlines, I will have to die. Wait, mom said I only have 2. Well, your mom didn't know you have a bloodline that is very old and since I am very old, I know what it is and I can unlock it. Now boy, are you ready? As I'll ever be. Naruto said as the Kyuubi smirked and sent all his power into Naruto, destroying the seal and flooding Naruto's chakra coils. On the outside, Mizuki and Iruka arrived just in time to see Naruto's body being lifted into the air by some unknown. That is all the proof that I need that Naruto is the demon. Mizuki growled out as charged the boy's body while Iruka was yelling at him to stop. He should have listened because as soon as the traitorous Chunin got within arm's length of boy, the red chakra formed a ball of energy around the boy and incinerated the white-haired man. The ball then began to expand and Iruka knew he was in trouble, so he took the forbidden scroll and got as far away from the inferno as possible. Good thing too, because as soon as the teacher shunshined out of there, the ball of red chakra expanded to that of an apartment building and then a few more. After that, 9 protrusions blasted outward for half a mile before the chakra turned blue and arced upward. They connected at the top and the ball expanded some more. Sarutobi saw this and paled, wondering what was going on with Naruto, while some of the idiot council members smirked, thinking that this was the perfect chance to have Naruto killed. The head of the Hyuga clan, Hiyashi, actually smiled at the ball of energy, freaking even the elders who were watching. Looks like Yusun finally got his bloodline. The ball of pure blue chakra then exploded upward, sending a dragon of chakra upward before it turned direction and shot downward, right back into Naruto, and the shockwave of the event destroyed everything around him that was not already gone, created a deep crater in the ground. Iruka was the first to return to the spot to see that Naruto was alive and well, and it seemed that his appearance has changed a bit. Naruto no longer had the whisker marks, he was a bit taller, he had red tips to his hair, and the boy had 2 katanas at his side. That was the sight the Hokage and 30 Anbu came upon. One of the Anbu took one look at Naruto, growled, and charged at him, yelling for him to die. One of the other Anbu, one with a Neko mask, chopped his neck. Idiot. Thank you, Neko-san. The old man sighed. Come on, let's get this cleaned up, hopefully Naruto will wake up soon. Hokage's office, 0.20 minutes later. Naruto finds himself in the old man's office with the old man, his old Anbu guardian Neko, and 2 others. One looks very sick while the other has a senbon in his mouth. Okay, what's up? I was hoping you could tell me what happened to you, Naruto. You steal the forbidden scroll and then you're the source of a chakra explosion. Well, after I learned one jutsu from the scroll to pass the genin exam like Mizuki said, I found a scroll in it that was addressed to me. From my mom, Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto said, but didn't the 3 other people in the room stiffen? But the Hokage saw and inwardly groaned, he was in for one hell of a night. I read the scroll, found out I am the container of the Kyuubi, who told me why he attacked and then unlocked my bloodlines for me, found out who my mom was and also my dad, the Yellow Flash. The Hokage looked very nervous now. Let me guess, you hid who I really was from everyone because my dad had a lot of enemies. Yes, now, I guess you learned that jutsu, so I will honor Mizuki's test even though it was a trick and give you the headband, be at the academy in 2 days. The Hokage said as Naruto left and the 3 others in the room glared at the old man. I am so get to old for this shit. The next day, Naruto had woken up late from the night's activities, and once he did his usual morning rituals, he took his mom's letter and unseals another scroll with the kanji for bloodlines. He also noticed a piece of paper next to his bed that was from the Kyuubi. He took the Kyuubi's letter and read it first. Naruto. The power that I unlocked is very old and not many people will know about it. Have you ever thought how the Shinigami got his power and how much power he has? Well, he was the king of the Shinigami. When he was in power, he had thousands of other low-leveled Shinigami to help him in getting the souls of the dead to his land. Soul Society. A race known as Hollows came one day to and pretty much destroyed them all. There were survivors, and you are the descendant of them. If you ever find Soul Society, you will find the Shinigami in a place where you truly belong. Good luck trying to figure out your powers. Kyuubi. Gee thanks, Naruto deadpanned as he took his mom's scroll and read through it. It would seem that the Uzugen is similar to the Sharingan in that it copies jutsu. There is one catch, it does not keep the normal jutsu it copies, and it mimics bloodline jutsu and lets him keep the bloodline jutsu. It also lets him see chakra, cancel genjutsu, keep up with taijutsu and pretty much be an expert in ninjutsu. Then the other bloodline is what he got from his dad. That flying thunder god jutsu was just a speed enhancement, and since his grandma was Tsunade, it could be in his legs or the arms. Wait, my grandma is Tsunade. His life just got a lot more complicated. After the shock of learning his powers and who he was related to, he decided that he needed a new wardrobe. Of course he got kicked out of nearly every shop until he came to a shinobi shop called the Wolf's Claw. As soon as he went in, he was greeted by an older man who looked like a blacksmith and a girl who looked to be a year older than him, who wore a pink Chinese shirt, baggy pants and had her hair in buns. He knew her from when he was a kid because the old man used to let her play with him. "Hey, Naruto. Hey, long time no see Tenten," Naruto said happily. "Ah, so you have finally become a ninja. You were also in my class, remember?" "Yeah, but like usual, the teachers held me back." "Okay, I know they don't like you that much, but that was just stupid." "Yeah, well, at least I am ninja now. I am happy for you," Tenten said with a smile as she put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. "So, I am guessing you wanna get out of those clothes and get real ninja clothes." "Yep," Naruto said as he pumped his fist in the air. "Good," said the old man. "Just take a look at the clothes and bring them up when you're done, and since this is your first time here, you get the stuff for free." Naruto thanked the man and walked to the clothes section with Tenten right behind him. She helped him get something that looked good but was functional for a ninja. She also asked where he got those swords and he replied that he got them from his chakra. She just drooled at the thought of getting some sort pointy blade from her chakra. In the end, he had black shinobi sandals, black baggy pants with many pockets, a black muscle shirt, and a white cloak with black flames on the bottom and the kanji for Shinigami on the back. He got 6 pairs of this, and he also found an odd scroll that said, "Chakra, the spiritual and the physical." So, he got the scroll as well because it sounded interesting. As soon as he left, Tenten turned to her father and said, "So, will you tell me why he is hated? 'Cause I know pranks are not that bad, even the last one with the Hokage monument. I do have to admit that was funny." The old man sighed and said, "I cannot, you have to ask him yourself or the Hokage himself. It is not a matter I can speak of." Tenten sighed, giving it up, for now. While Naruto was walking back to his home, he was reading the scroll that he got while had the scroll that held his clothes were in his back pocket. He found that you can split your chakra to use either side of it. Tsunade was famous for using the physical part thanks to her strength. He did wonder how the author knew this, but he also didn't care that much. He continued to read until he got back to his place, and once he dropped off the clothes scroll, an Anbu showed up. "Uzumaki-san, the council demands your presence," the Anbu said, while Naruto sighed and nodded. Said Anbu then put a hand on Naruto's shoulder and they shunshined to the council doors. When they got there, they noticed the Hokage there with annoyed look. "Well, let's get this over with, old man, they probably want to know what happened yesterday." The Hokage nodded as they entered to find the Shinobi Council very annoyed at the Civilian Council and the elders. As soon as he walked in, they were demanding for him to be killed for endangering Konoha. It went on with both sides yelling at each other. Hiashi kept quiet like usual, but he noticed Naruto getting really pissed off at all the noise and began channeling chakra to his arms and fists. He almost widened his eyes when he saw the chakra turn to physical chakra, the same chakra that Tsunade used. He smirked, thinking that this would be quite the show. Since he had a crap load of chakra, he only had to put a bit of that into his arms and fists to make this work. Sure, it was a lot to other people, but to him, not so much. He got an annoyed tick mark on his head and yelled, "Shut the hell up," while slamming his fists down on the table. The effect was instant because as soon as he hit the table, it blew up into splinter around him while the rest of the table spider webbed and then fell apart. The Civilian Council was now shaking in fear while the Shinobi Council had their eyes bugging out, well except for Hiashi, that is. "Now shut up and let me tell you what happened. That night I was tricked into stealing the scroll by Mizuki. I got connected by the beast and it offered to unlock my bloodlines. Now the reason it sacrificed itself to do this was because it lost its family thanks to an Uchiha, and not just any Uchiha. Madara Uchiha. He must have survived that battle with the Shadaimon since he already hated Konoha. You get the picture. How are we supposed to believe a demon like you?" A stupid villager said. "Do you hear yourself? You call me a demon, but if you think about it, all you civilians attacked me when I was younger. Now if I was the demon, you all would have been dead a long time ago because demons don't take that shit. Also if you have taken a look at me in the last few minutes I have been here, truly taken a look, you would have seen that the whisker marks that mark me as the container of the nine-tailed fox are gone. The seal holding the beast is now gone as well. So pull your heads out of your asses and use your Naruto said, and at the end he was panting. He is correct, and I also see now demon chakra in his system. I will admit that he does have a lot of it though, no doubt the demon chakra has been converted ahead of time to normal chakra. The fourth Hokage really did know what he was doing when he made that seal. Hiashi finally spoke, impressed by Naruto's speech. Why didn't say something like that before? Asked Inochi. The civilians would not believe me because they don't understand seals or shinobi matter that well. Why they have a say on this council is beyond me. Hiashi said with a glare to the civilians. He then smirked and said, besides, I knew how the seal works because was helping the boy's father make it after all since we were on the same team. Wait what? A civilian nearly shouted. Hiashi sighed and said, like Naruto said, use your brains. Who does the boy look like? They all took a good look at Naruto who had been glaring at the civilian council and they gasped. A pink-haired civilian by the name of Sally Haruno growled at this. What is your problem? Inochi asked. I know who his mother must have been. That whore from Whirlpool. Kushina Uzumaki. She said while the other civilians were panicking. Troublesome, you just edgy about because you could not get with the rich guy like the gold digger you are. I think that is why you are having your daughter go after the last Uchiha. Shikaku said while everyone chuckled at this. I bet you had most of the civilians hate Naruto for that fact alone, but hid behind the Kyuubi lies, all you had to do was sleep with them. At this, most of the civilian council blushed while turning their heads away. I should have been with the fourth. Not that whore from Whirlpool. She screamed but shrunk back in fear because a large killer intent was directed at her thanks to Naruto. Look who's talking you bitch. Hey, looks like my dad had pretty good taste in character. Naruto said from his spot. I am so glad you did not end up being my mom, otherwise I would be an idiot like you. Well, this has been fun and all but I need to give Naruto his inheritance, so this meeting is over. The Hokage said as he and Naruto stood up to leave. He turned back and said, I will think on what Hiashi said, we truly don't need a civilian council with the Shinobi Council. As they left, the civilian council were in a panic. They needed to tell everyone that they had been wrong, and faster feel the wrath of the yellow flash and the red whirlpool in the afterlife. As for Danzo and the elders, he was plotting on getting Naruto exiled from the village, he just needed the perfect excuse. Naruto sighed as he sat down in the chair across from the Hokage. Well, that was very annoying. Yes, but at least things will be changing. Good. Now, here are the keys to your father's home and a check card for your money. The old man said as he gave the blonde the said items. Now, you should go and get your picture taken, come on, let's go. They once again left the Hokage's office and went to the camera room. Once got his picture done, a little kid busted into the room screaming that he would beat the old man, but tripped on his scarf and fell down. The kid got up, saw Naruto and yelled, you tripped me. No. You just have two left feet kid, that and you tripped over that stupid scarf. Naruto deadpanned. Besides, the hell are you doing in here? I am going to beat my grandfather and the name is Konohamaru. The boy smirked as he thought that Naruto would be like the rest. He was dead wrong. Naruto sighed as he walked over to Konohamaru and flicked him across the room. Inari looked up at Naruto painfully as he said, like I care whose grandkid you are. Besides, I don't think you can beat the Hokage of this place. Unless you use this, the old man panicked as he knew what jutsu he was going to use. Sexy jutsu. Naruto called out as he turned into a girl and blew a kiss at the old fart. The old man fell over with blood shooting out of nose. Naruto turned back in time to see Ebisu enter, glare at Naruto and then ask what happened. Naruto had left a few minutes after that and when both men noticed that Konohamaru was not there, Ebisu panicked and went off to find him, again, while the Hokage knew where he went, to Naruto. With Naruto. Naruto's eye was twitching, that was because for the last few minutes, a square rock had been following him. He sighed and finally turned around. Rocks are not square. The rock exploded and revealed a coughing Konohamaru. Nice one, boss. What do you want? Naruto asked. Why are you calling me boss? Because you are the boss. I want you to teach me that jutsu. Fine, but know this, there are no shortcuts to becoming Hokage. Naruto said as they walked off in the forest. A few hours later, in front of his new house. He was so glad he made that jutsu, he could weed out the perverts in this place, but who knew Ebisu was a closet perv. After he left Inari to do his own thing, he went to his new home and found that place to be huge. It was also surrounded by security seals, but thanks to his blood, he was able to enter. Once inside, he had his clones scope out the place and was pleased to see what they found out and the fact that the jutsu has the original learn what the clones learn. That would be useful for training. Anyway, he had a living room, a kitchen, a gym, a dojo, a rec room, and many other bedrooms. Yeah, he took the top bedroom that his parents must have used. He smiled to himself as he looked at all the pictures in the hallways. They were of his parents and a few other people, like his dad's old team and his students. The silver-haired kid looked his was a stick in the mud to him. There was a picture of his mom's students. One looked sickly, another was chewing a senbon and had a bandana on, and the last one, a girl with purple hair. They were interesting to say the least because he noticed that all of them had a blade. Hey, his mom must have taught them well. He looked out the window to see that it was already night time, so he went to bed in his new bed. Tomorrow, he would train. The next day, in the dojo. After eating a good breakfast, he made a massive amount of clones to work on his chakra control that the scroll he had bought told him he should do. He was also having them do the academy jutsu till they don't have to do hand signs. He however was reading more of the scroll. After all, it helped up his strength thanks to the physical chakra. Strength like Tsunade's is not all that one can do with this chakra. One can up their speed like the fourth Hokage. All one has to do is send the chakra to their legs and you will gain lots of speed. Beware, there is a reason the fourth Hokage had to use special kunai to truly use this power. This is not all, physical chakra has another property that no ninja has ever used. I was used by people long ago, their names lost to history. They were able to shoot the energy out of their hands and mouths and manipulate it into many attacks. After read that, Naruto stood up and pointed his hand at a nearby training dummy. He channeled the energy to his hand, saw it forming a ball of energy around his hand. He then flung his hand and the ball basted apart the dummy. Wow, this could really be useful. He then started channeling that energy to his leg like the scroll said, ignoring that warning. As he took his first step, he was blasted right through the wall and kept on going through town. The clones looked at the wall and grimaced, that had to hurt. Naruto screamed as he ran through the village, not able to stop at the moment. The Hokage heard him, along with everyone else, and when they looked to see the boy, all they saw was a yellow blur before it was gone. He is going to be the death of me. The old man groaned. Day of the team placements. On he was to the academy, he thought back to that attempt at gaining new speed. Epic failure was the phrase that came to mind. He had to rebuild everything he broke, which was quite a lot of walls. After he was done with that, he went looking for those special kunai the scroll talked about. He found a lot of them in a closet, but he really needed to learn sealing before he actually tried that again. Once inside the classroom, people looked at him oddly before Kiba yelled out, "Who the hell are you?" "Well, dog breath, it is me, Naruto, and before you ask what I am doing here, look at the headband," Naruto said. Everyone's eyes all bugged out at Naruto, who was not in orange. Of course Hinata blushed like no tomorrow because his new clothes made him hotter in her eyes. He walked up the way to sit next to her, Shikamaru, and Choji. The lazy Nara took a look at Naruto, muttered something about troublesome blondes, and said, "Where are those whisker marks, Naruto?" "Oh, they disappeared when my bloodlines activated," Naruto replied. This caught the Uchiha's attention. "I bet they are weak, nothing is better than the Sharingan," says the Uchiha with no Sharingan yet. Naruto commented, which made all the guy and some girls to laugh at that. Dobi, what are your bloodlines anyway? Duck Butt asked. Naruto smirked and just sat there, which made the pink-haired banshee scream at him. Show your powers, you baka. Putting a pinky in his ear, Naruto replied. What are you, related to a banshee or something? Fine, I will show you. He channeled his chakra to his eyes as they changed from to normal blue to blue with a golden spiral in them. So what does it do? Sakura demanded. You know, you are getting annoying, so go away because I don't feel like telling you. Sakura screamed and charged him, intending to punch him, but he caught her fist and then flicked her head. That sent her into the chalkboard. Uruka walked into the classroom at this point and sighed. Will someone pry her out of the chalkboard, please? I have teams to announce and I need her to be conscious for it. Ino was the only one to help her out, and when that was done, Uruka began. Team 1. Team 7 is Sasuke, Sakura. He was interrupted by her shout of joy, and sigh. Your sensei is Kakashi. Team 8 is Shino, Kiba, and Hinata. Your sensei is Kurenai. Team 9 is still alive, so we go 1 to Team 10, who is Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji. Your sensei is Asuma. Sakura took this time to gloat at Naruto. Ha! You didn't get a team, you loser. Actually, I was about to say where he goes before you interrupted me. Who cares, he will just die in the first week of being a ninja, he is a weak baka. She said with a smirk. Says the pink-haired banshee who got flicked into the chalkboard. Naruto commented, which made everyone laugh. Anyway, Naruto is on a team by himself and is being taught by his mom's old students, Genma, Yugao, and Hayate. Uruka said as they came in and looked at the Uchiha's team. Cough Team 7. I pity you. Cough Kakashi is always late. Hayate said while Sasuke smirked. Dobi, you got shafted. Well, come on Naruto. Genma said. Hey, these guys were from that picture, cool. Sasuke was annoyed. Why might you ask? Well, when you have a banshee pestering you for a date every 5 minutes, it tends to get annoying. Also, when that sickly-looking Jonin, Hayate was his name, told them their sensei would be late, he was not expecting that to be 3 hours late. So yeah, he was very annoyed. At least this Sai was not as annoying as the pink hair one. A thought then came to him and he voiced his question to the other two. Uruka said that Naruto's mom's old students would be teaching him. Who the hell was she? Probably was some whore. Sakura sneered. Actually, if you think on that fact that there was only one other Uzumaki in town, then you would know, but she is dead. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki, and what my father has told me was that she was on par with Suant. Her nickname was the Red Whirlpool, and if I remember correctly of what he said, she was in a relationship with the 4th Hokage. Sai said. Both Sasuke and Sakura's eyes bugged out at this. For Sakura, it was the name of this one lady her mom just did not like for some reason. She began to think on it and scowled. Her mom was the one who was a whore. She told me to hate Naruto for that. I have got to be nicer to him, not apologize to him somehow. The Uchiha's world was shell-shocked at this new information. His father hated the 4th for the reason that he was Hokage, and he scowled at that thought. His father was weaker than the Hokage, and he just knew it if his brother was able to kill him. He had connected to the two pieces and had a better respect for the blonde now. He was related to the Red Whirlpool and the Yellow Flash. He needed to battle him to gain more respect for the blonde. With Naruto. Naruto had just received his test from his new sensei and he was pleased that he passed. He had to fight each one in a one-on-one duel with his 2 new blades. He was not very good with the blades, but he thanked God that he went back to the Wolf's Claw to get a style. He was still getting the basics down, but he really liked the 2 styles he had chosen. If he used one sword, he would use the style used by Starkiller from SW, Force Unleashed, but if he used 2 swords, he would use that style, along with doing his best to use another style. Still needs a lot of work. Well Naruto, you did well and I can see that you are trying to create your own style. Yugao said with a smile. So we will each teach you our styles and that might help. Along with that, we will be teaching you more chakra control exercises along with jutsu. Genma said while chewing on his senbon. We will also help you with your bloodlines as well, but first, we need to know what element you are aligned with. Hayate said as he handed Naruto a white piece of paper. Just channel some chakra into it. Naruto did so and was shocked along with his 3 teachers. It was cut to pieces and some of the pieces were on fire, crackled with lightning, got wet, and turned to dust. That might be because of the Kyuubi's old chakra as it fused with me. Naruto commented. Well, we now know what to teach you. Genma said with a chuckle. Hey, before we start on anything, could we get to know each other? I know you know me because of my mom, but, you know. Sure, Yugao said as they headed to a barbecue restaurant. Once they were seated and ordered their food, Yugao spoke again. I will go first. I am Yugao Azuki. I like my boyfriend Hayate, practicing in my sword style and hanging out with Kurenai and Anko. I dislike perverts. My hobbies are training and spending time with Hayate. I guess my goal is to have a family. My name is Hayate Gecko. I like Yugao here in swords. I dislike being sick, but it helps me win battles since people underestimate me. My hobbies are the same as my likes and my dream is to also have a family. Yeah, I am Genma Shiranui. I like being like a Nara, being lazy in swords. I don't like arrogance and stuck-up people. I guess if I had a dream, it would be to settle down with a nice lady. The senbon chewing Jonin pondered. Okay, I guess I am next. Naruto said. I am Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, training, and learning new jutsu. I dislike pricks, assholes, and people who judge others before they get to know them. Oh, and the time it takes for ramen to cook. My hobbies are my likes and my dream, I don't know anymore. Naruto shrugged. What, you don't want to be Hokage? Asked Genma. Well, when I went to that council meeting the other day, I could tell that the hatred runs deep in this village and they won't allow me to be Hokage no matter what. Besides, I thought being the Hokage was something other than staying in a room all day doing paperwork. Though I am surprised the Hokage has not used shadow clones to do it for him. The Hokage was watching this from his crystal ball and began to bang his head on the desk. Stupid, stupid, stupid. He yelled while his secretary just thought he was having a senior moment. Back with Naruto, we see they have finished and as they were leaving, Hayate noticed that Naruto's swords were glowing and then the boy passed out. He quickly catch the boy and sighed. I'll take him home, something tells me this has something to do with his bloodline. The other 2 nodded as Hayate took Naruto home. Naruto's mindscape. The blonde opened his eyes to see not a sewer like most expected, but rocky wasteland with a dark-looking castle off to the side. Okay, this is new. Where am I? You are in your mindscape, boy. Said a booming voice as an orangish gaint of a man appeared and the blonde noticed he was on a pedestal of sorts, so he was somewhat eye level with this giant man. Off to the side he saw another man in a black cloak and he looked to be floating in midair. Okay, the last time I was pulled into my mind, I had a giant fox in here. Now I have 2 guys I have no clue about and the landscape has changed. Naruto said, a little annoyed. Well Naruto-kun, we are you sword spirits, you know, part of your bloodline. The cloak-wearing man said. The man then took off his hood to reveal a head full of long silver hair. You may not be able to hear our names yet but you are still young, but I will tell you mine anyway. It is Xemnas. Xemnas huh, cool. Naruto said. Since you were able to hear his name, I will tell you mine. I am, the Titan. I was Zeus's father. The big man said. Who? Naruto asked. I could not even hear your name. The man grumbled but Xemnas began to talk again. You have 2 varied power swords, don't let it go to your head. You should go now, it is morning. 2 weeks later. D-ranked missions, that were what they had been doing when they were not training. It's so much that this time they were going to make sure they got at least a C-ranked mission. As they walked in, the Hokage smiled and said, another completes mission, good. Now I have some more missions for you, and one of them is Tora, again. No. Can we please do AC rank, please? Naruto pleaded on his knees. Well, since you have only 1 genin on the team, you have done the required amount of missions, so I guess you could. I will send Team 10 with you as backup. Your senseis could take of a higher mission while you are gone. Thank you. The four of them yelled. They truly hated D ranks. Team 10 came in just in time to hear that. Troublesome, what is going on? Ah, just the team I need. I am sending you and Naruto on a C-ranked mission. Okay then, where is it? Asked Asuma, while Ino was muttering about having another idiot on the team. I am sending you on a mission to a small village in the east. The Hokage started. They have been attacked recently by very odd creatures. Asuma raised an eyebrow at that. You mean those weird creatures that eat people's souls? The very same. The only reason I am sending you on this mission is because of Naruto. I think he has the means of destroying these creatures, well from what I have been told of his odd sword bloodline anyway. So, what do these things look like? Ino asked. They are large dark creatures of various shapes and sizes, but they all have something in common, a bone mask that hides their true selves. They all meet at the gates after they got ready for the mission and were just seen leaving. So sensei, what are these things even called and why do they exist? Choji asked while munching on his chips. To tell you the truth, I am not sure. I only know of them because I had to kill a few that went after the Fire Lord, always claiming they wanted vengeance. Weird. Ino commented. Naruto panted a scroll that he had gotten at his house a few days ago. Flashback. The blonde opened the door to his house after a long day of training to find what looked to be a ghost of some sort. Please do not be afraid, I was sent by the king of Shinigami. Since you are pretty much his heir, he wants you to eventually find and take over Soul Society, but first, you must know about the past. It said as it handed Naruto a scroll that was black and silver. He looked back at the ghost to see it was gone. He shivered a bit, but went to reading the scroll given to him by the ghost. He read and was surprised to find the existence many things still left within the world. Flashback end. They are called hollows. He said loud enough for them to hear. Troublesome, what are these things and how do you know of them? Naruto smirked as he showed them a black and silver scroll. Because of them odd sword bloodline, I am actually a Shinigami or Soul Reaper. The Shinigami we all know is the king, but most are dead because of these hollow that they fought back in the day. Now a hollow is basically a soul of a dead person that has been tainted. They can rip out your soul if they wish and eat it, killing you. Great, we are going or monsters that can kill us via our soul. Ino shouted. But how is it that you of all people got this info? I guess the king wants me to help him by killing these things and eventually finding a place called Soul Society, a place where a race of Soul Reapers used to live in normal souls after death. Wait, how do we kill these things and what happens to our souls after death? Choji asked, a little freaked out by this. They have a mask that protects their face for a reason. Slice the mask open and it was die, well that is what the scroll said. Naruto replied. For the souls, they either get picked up by the Shinigami to live somewhere, but if he doesn't, you roam the earth till he does, or you get eaten by the hollows and or turn into one. Troublesome. That does not sound that great, I hope I don't die soon. Choji gulped. Don't worry, I am sure it is just a few weak ones. Asuma commented and Naruto hoped he was right. A few hours later, we find our team in front of a small village where the people looked very freaked out. While they walked through town, they saw large footprints in the ground that looked to be a day old and Ino shuddered at what this thing could look like. She then looked at Naruto and wondered how he had changed so much. In the academy, he was a dead last, but on the way here, he seemed stronger than Sasuke ever was and a lot smarter too. That brought up a thought as to why she liked the Uchiha. She could really think of a reason, she and the other girls liked because he was an Uchiha. She shook her head, that never even talked to anyone other than to put someone down. That was when she decided to be a real ninja. She would help her teammates and get stronger, God knows she needs it. She also wondered if she was gaining a crush on the blonde like Hinata has. She shook her head, she would worry about that after the mission was over. They headed to the town center to see an old man waiting for them near a fountain. He looked up at them from his sitting position and cried, I am so glad you ninja have come. I am not sure how much more my people could take these weird attacks. I trust you know how to get rid of these things. The old man said. Yes. Naruto here has a unique bloodline that helps him see the tainted spirits and he has the ability to kill them. Asuma said in a business-like manner. Oh thank God. Some of my people have been able to see them and they were scared shitless. One of them was not, as he was a former ninja and he tried to kill them. He succeeded, but that brought the wrath of the other on him and he died, and somehow, another one popped up. I do have someone who said they saw his soul and those creatures ganged up on it and he turned into one of them. The old man was panicking as he said this. Don't worry. My sword will purify him and send him to the Shinigami. That is what my swords can do. You see, these creatures, hollows, are tainted old and they taint other souls by eating them and leaving their negative energy behind. You saw the result. Naruto explained. I see. Now I will leave you to it. These creatures come out at night, so feel free to do what you want till then. How will we know when they are here? Asked Shikamaru. Oh trust me young one, you will know. The one man said as he walked away. Asuma chuckled as Shikamaru muttered a troublesome and sat down on the fountain. Okay, I want you all to ask around the village to who has been targeted and such. Return here at dusk, I don't want us to be separated what it all goes down. The four genin nodded and ran off while Asuma lit a cancer stick. Why am I getting a bad feeling about this? Dusk. They watched the sun go down and Ino that Naruto was glowing in the odd light. She shook her head, getting those thoughts out of her head. Shikamaru saw this, muttering something about troublesome blondes as he rolled his eyes. Soon, the SN was finally gone and it was nighttime. They waited for an hour and nothing happened. Okay, this is so. Ino began but was cut off by an unearthly roar shredding the night's silence. Oh no, I think they are here. Choji said as he got ready to fight. They looked around them to see that these hollows had surrounded them on the buildings. Well. Looks like we got ninja to try and kill us. Said a bird-like hollow. As if the last idiot was not enough, they send more in. I will enjoy kill them. A lizard-like one said. Oh but let's leave that cute one for last, I want to hear her scream as I devour her soul. A lion-like one chuckled. Oh, you are such a pervert. A feline-like hollow screeched. Besides, they look weak as they are only a genin team and that fat one looks so yummy. Wrong thing to stay as all the hollows felt killer intent from the fat one. I am not fat. I am big-boned you skinny bitch. He yelled as he expanded his arms and leg to stomp on the shocked cat-like creature. He was able to crack the mask so the cat-like hollow was actually killed by that attack. Holy crap, that guy killed her like it was nothing. Squawked the bird hollow. We're not done yet. Naruto shouted as he rushed the lion-like hollow, creating shadow clones to confuse it. He was going to use an attack that Hayate taught him. Flashback. Okay, Naruto. I am going to teach you one of my best sword techniques. It is called, Dance of the Crescent Moon. Hayate said as he then had a coughing fit. Cool. How do I do it? Naruto asked after Hayate was done with his episode. Cough for you, it would be better if you had you shadow clones confuse the enemy until you are able to get in close to do that attack. Now, let's begin. Cough. Right. Flashback end. Yeah, just gotta confuse this thing and get in close. Hopefully this thing is not as smart as Hayate sensei is. He thought this because it could get ugly if he messed up. So while it was confused, he got in real close and jumped up. Dance of the Crescent Moon. He announced as he arced upward and slashed down on the surprised monster and its mask was cut in two. Asuma saw this after he got rid of the lizard-like hollow with his trench knives. So he learned that nice. He looked to his other student to see that Shikamaru had caught the bird-like hollow with his shadow and Choji rolled all over it with his meat tank attack. It stood no chance. He frowned at this. It was just too easy. Everyone's eyes widened when they heard Ino scream and saw that she was being held in mid-air by a huge hollow that looked like an ape. Foolish whelps, they were weak anyway. Now, I will devour the girl, just as soon as I rip her soul out. He yelled as he slammed Ino down on the ground to knock her out. They then saw her soul being ripped out and she was awakened screaming because he was about to be devoured by this hollow and she had a chain connected to chest that lead to her real body. It was a good thing that it was not broken or she would have been screwed. Let me go. No, I have had some run-ins with your clan. A clan that can project their souls to another human. Oh, just delicious souls. I hope yours is good as well, little girl. It chuckled as it slowly moved her to its mouth. I don't think so. Naruto yelled as he rushed up, slice up its hand and got Ino away before it had a chance to get her back. He set her by the team and said, "Keep her safe, in her body. I will deal with this thing." "Are you sure?" Asuma asked. "Yeah, just don't get killed." With that, the blonde rushed off as Shikamaru muttered a troublesome. "He is going to himself killed," he said in a bored manner. He knew none of them could take that on. Well, maybe Asuma could, but what could Naruto do? As the blonde ran back to the creature, he thought of another attack he could use. He just hoped Yugao doesn't kill him for it. Flashback. Naruto, I am going to teach you an attack that I created. It is called Cats Out of the Bag. Yugao said with a smile. Right, so how does it work? The blonde asked. I will show you. Yugao said as she disappeared. Every now and then, he saw the dirt pick up in odd places, then she was behind him, her sword to his neck. This is a stealth attack and can be deadly to your enemy. Never use this against a fellow leaf shinobi and try not to use this unless it is a life-threatening situation. Okay. Naruto said, this must be some attack then. But first, we need to get your evasion and speed up, so that is why I brought my friend Anko to help out. The long purple-haired woman said as the snake lady appeared. That is right, now. Dodge. Naruto yelled as he dodged from her snake-like attacks. You are insane. Thank you. Not the balls. Flashback end. Cats out of the bag. The blonde yelled and pretty much disappeared from sight, which made Asuma raise an eyebrow at that. So Yugao taught him that attack too. That boy is full of surprises, the chainsmoker said. Okay, what is it supposed to do? Shikamaru asked. You'll see. See, they did as the monster was starting to yell for the blonde. The hell are you? Everywhere. Naruto's voice came and the monster was slashed in many different places. It roared and swung a giant arm to make several puffs of smoke appear. Naruto reappeared and ran up the hollow's arm and stabbed it in the shoulder. Pathetic Soul Reaper wannabe. You can't kill me. You're just not powerful enough, but I have more than enough power to kill you. Hey, I have lived a long time and I know what most hollows don't. Now, get off of me. It yelled as it ripped Naruto off itself and threw him into a building. Now die. Sero. It yelled as a blast of spirit energy was shot towards the blonde. Naruto saw this coming with dinner plate eyes. Damn, I don't know many spirit attacks yet. No matter, I got a physical attack for it. He murmured as he started charging physical energy to his hands. Konoha. A green blast of energy shot out of Naruto's hands and hit the Sero head on in the center, creating a ball of pure chakra. This is insane. Ino yelled in her spirit form to her teammates. You some that right, troublesome blonde. Shikamaru replied as he and the other braced themselves as the attacks were creating shockwaves. And this is Naruto's bloodline. Thought Asuma. Damn, I can't keep this up. Naruto said to himself. Use my power then, the voice of Zemnas echoed in his head. Right. Naruto yelled as he overcharged his attack, overpowering the Sero and disintegrating the hollow's arm as it tried to get away. Come from the void of nothingness, Zemnas. The shinobi were confused as hell at what that could mean, but the hollow was freaking out. Holy shit. He is not a wannabe. Ice 1. In a flash of light, Naruto appeared with a 7-foot blade. It was not any blade, no way. It was a huge buster blade that had 4 cannon-like attachments on the hilt of the blade. It was the cannon blade. Time for you to die. Nothing wave. Naruto yelled as he ran up the building and jumped off so he was above the hollow. He pointed the blade downward and a blast of pure spirit energy incinerated the mask and all. As he landed, the blade turned back to normal. He walked over to Team 10 and saw they had looks of awe on their faces. Wow, Naruto. That was awesome. Now, can you please help me? Ino pleaded. Well, since you are out of your body, you are technically dead. Ino and her teammates' eyes widened. But since your chain of fate is still intact, all you have to do is walk back into your body. Ino's sweat dropped at the simple answer as she walked back into her body and cheered about still being alive, while Shikamaru muttered something about troublesome blondes while Choji happily ate some chips. Asuma just shook his head. This report was going to be a pain in the. Naruto started to sway on his feet and said, well, I somehow knew this was going to happen. He then passed out. Team 10 rushed over to help the blonde Shinigami. After finally getting back to Konoha, they reported to the Hokage that the mission had turned into at least a B rank. The Hokage agreed after reading the report his son had given him. These hollows were nothing to be messed with, they were in fact very dangerous. Naruto noticed that Ino had been nicer to him than she was in the academy. One day, it clicked that she had a crush on him and it seemed that when he back, so did Hinata. His sweat dropped at that, it seemed that he was gaining a fan club. It seemed nice, but he just hoped it did not get out of hand like it did with Sasuke. After all that, he went back to his teachers and learned a few more sword attacks. They even told him that it would be good to learn how to use another type of weapon and choose some odd weapon that was a chain that was attached to a dagger of sorts. After about 2 weeks of trying to get the hand of it, he had become pretty proficient with it. He also decided to learn all about seals so if he ever need to use one or help someone out with it, well, he would be able to do so. Now, 2 months later he had become stronger in the ninja art but is still mediocre with his Shinigami arts. He could not for the life of him, gain the name of that titan. That and the scroll that he had bought had a few attacks, like a white lightning attack. It was awesome in his eyes. At the moment, he was eating ramen like there was no tomorrow at his favorite ramen stand. The old man could not help but chuckle madly as Naruto was eating more food today than usual because he was in an eating contest with Choji. Him and Team 10 hung out more after their mission and the blonde found that Shikamaru loved to play a game called shogi, so he tired it. He lost horribly in the beginning, but got a little better each time he played with the lazy Nara. Since Naruto was hanging out with the boys, he would help out Ino when she trained or kept her company at her family's store, to which she loved since it got boring at times. So after eating this last bowl he fell out his chair dramatically and said, "Man, I can't eat anymore." Choji actually did the same and said, "You win this time Naruto, arg." The large boy said as he held his stomach in pain. "Yeah, that was 60 bowls to 58 bowls. I honestly thought you were going to win." Naruto said as he slowly got up and paid for his bowls while Choji did the same. They shook hand and were about to go when Kiba and Shino appeared. "Naruto, the Hokage needs us," Kiba said, a little miffed about why they needed Naruto. Shino knew but he, like usual, said nothing. "Right," Naruto said as he followed the two boys to the Hokage Tower, but the Hokage called him back for some reason. "Hokage Tower. Good to see that you found him," the old Hokage said with a smile. "Wasn't hard, the idiot was gorging himself with Choji," Kita replied. The dog boy was curious as to who the guy in the corner was. "It was a ramen eating contest Kiba," Naruto said with a twitch in his eye. "Yes, well, I have a mission for you all." The old man cut in before a fight broke out. "Huh, then where is Hinata?" Naruto asked, curious as why Hinata would not be on this mission as well. "He is sick in the hospital, some jack poisoned her during out first C-rank mission." Kiba growled. "Unfortunate but we have another mission and this must be a high-ranking one to have you on the team," Shino reasoned. Before Kiba could say anything, the Hokage spoke again. "Correct Shino, Naruto's last mission with Team 10 turned out to be a B rank. Naruto was the one to take out the leader of those creatures you were supposed to have learned about in the academy, the Hollows." Kiba's eyes widened and he looked to Naruto and could not help but smirk. "So, he is the strongest genin I have to spare for this mission. This will be a C rank escort mission but could turn into a B rank if those creatures decide to attack." "Sounds like a plan, who are we guarding?" asked Naruto. "Me, my name is Shibuki and I am the leader of Taki." The man in the counter said as he decided to speak. So meet me at the gates in 1 hour. The man then left. Sarutobi sighed and said, might as well get ready. They nodded and left. Naruto got ready in 15 minutes and decided to do something nice, so he went to the flower shop, and since he knew more about flowers since he helped out there with Ino, he got some get well soon flowers. Ino noticed this and asked, so, who are those flowers for Naruto? Oh, I just heard that Hinata was sick in the hospital. So I decided to be nice, get these. Ino smiled as he paid for the flowers and walked out. Hinata better get him soon, or else me or someone else will. Any girl would be lucky to get him. Hospital. Naruto found the room for Hinata and noticed that she was asleep. He smiled and he had to be quick about this since he need to get back to the gates. He looked at her and thought, why does she like me? He quickly shook it off and placed the flowers on the table next to her and a note. He then leapt out the window. Hinata woke up just as he left and noticed the flowers. She intently thought they were from Kiba and rolled her eyes, but she had to be nice so she picked up the note and her eyes widened. Heard you got hurt, get well soon Hinata-chan. Naruto. She instantly fainted after that with a big smile on her face. The gates. Naruto arrived just as Kurenai appeared and they set off without a word. Kiba had gained a respect for Naruto after Shino told him about Naruto's mission. The silent boy somehow heard the story from another shinobi who was talking about the mission. That ninja was freaking out about hollows that were not supposed to be around anymore, at least to their knowledge anyway. When they finally got a huge waterfall with some kids nearby, they were relieved because this so-called leader was chicken as he got scared over stupid things like a bird flying away. It was rather annoying. Whoa. Now that's what I call a waterfall. Naruto shouted while Kiba smirked. Yes, quite impressive isn't it? Kurenai said with a smile. I take it we have arrived. Shino stated. As they walked around the edge of the waterfall, they noticed all the trash in the water. Before Naruto or Kiba could say anything about it, they heard the voice of a little girl. Lord Shibuki. Shibuki chuckled and said, now, keep your distance. Show a little respect for your village leader. The kids just gave him a sad look. I am sorry I don't have time to play with you right now. But that is not why we are here. The little boy said. We are supposed to clean up the trash by the shore. Mother's making us pick up every piece. The little girl said. I see. Shibuki said as then turned to his escorts with a smile and said, well look, I brought you some help. These ninja have come from the Hidden Leaf village. Naruto and Kiba started to protest but Shibuki ignored them and said, we will pay you for your time. Kiba complained but the kids came up to Naruto and said their thanks because the current was a little strong. Kurenai smiled and said that it was a good idea. While they did the dirty work of cleaning up the waters, Kurenai and Shibuki were talking about rumors of rogue ninjas and such. That did not sit well with the village leader. They would be after the hero's water or, her. I won't let them get either of them. The water is scared to my village and she is my half-sister. As he thought that he was caught off guard by a messenger bird that had a note for Kurenai. She was needed back in the village so she left and told the team to follow her when they were finished. Kiba made some comments that the others could leave while he did the rest and somehow mocked Shibuki. That got the kids mad and they pushed him away, which a bad thing for Dog Boy as he stepped in some dog shit. Naruto could not help but laugh his off at that. After a bit, they were done and Naruto was complaining about being hungry. Shibuki would not have any of that and told them to go home. Shino nodded and started walking only to stop as the girl shrieked as her mother came stumbling toward them with a kunai in her back. She told them that they had been attacked. Naruto then told Shino to take the kids and their mother to a safe place while he, Kiba, and Shibuki were to go inside the village to save them. Shibuki was reluctant at first but he needed help in with this, since he was not strong enough. But before anything could be done, some shinobi came out of the waterfall and attacked them. Kiba smirked as he and Akamaru took them out with his piercing fang jutsu. It was pretty easy in his eyes. Hey, looks like we got a new mission. 3 in a row, now let's get in there. Naruto said as he turned to Shibuki. Show us the way man. Let me make one thing clear, Don't reveal the secret location to anyone. I promise. Naruto said as they enter the cave behind the waterfall. Shibuki then jumped into a small puddle and didn't surface. Okay, I guess that is the entrance. You think? Let's go and kick some. Kiba yelled as he jumped in and Naruto followed right after. That small puddle turned out to be an underwater pathway. Once inside, they saw a small village, under a giant tree. It was impressive to say the least. The only problem was that there was one even out. It looked like a dead town. They never noticed Shibuki was gone, and when Kiba noticed this, he pushed Naruto back into the water while he had Akamaru dealt with some ninja that attacked. Naruto never knew that the dog duo got captured like their friend Shino. Naruto didn't know where the waterfall leader even went, so he went with his guts and swam to the big tree in the middle. In the large roots of the tree, Naruto saw Shibuki swim to some island within the tree. The guy went to a cabinet of some sort and pulled out a small vial of water. He wondered if that was the hero's water. He followed the leader to the hole in the tree where they saw Kiba and Shino all tied up with the rest of the villagers. No. What? Asked Naruto as he jumped down out of nowhere, scaring the crap out of Shibuki. Don't do that. The leader hissed out. Anyway, I can't believe my old teacher is the one leading the attack. By the way, how did you get here? I followed my gut to find you, so I poked around the roots of this giant tree. Now who is that nut job? Suian, my old teacher. He is their leader, he is probably here of this, the hero's water. Hey Shibuki. I know you're here. Don't be shy. Come on out right now and bring the hero's water with you. The man said. Naruto noticed that Shibuki was shaking all over the place. He must be very scared of this guy. Don't make this village suffer anymore because of you. Okay, what is so great about that jug of water that he wants? Asked Naruto. This water is only drawn from the trunk of the tree every 100 years. It allows the one who drinks it have 10 times their normal chakra, but at a price, it shortens their lifespan. It could make one as strong as your Hokage. Shibuki said as he explained to Naruto what happened in the last war and its effects on those who drink. The guy's father drank it and he died. Shibuki called him a fool for doing so. No, you're the fool. He died to protect you and the village. He is okay in my books. Naruto said as he went to the hole in the tree to see that the old guy was going to kill a kid. I don't know why you think it is useless, but I am going to kick his, even if I have to die. With that, Naruto jumped out the hole to find a good way to attack. Just as the old man was going to kill the little girl, Naruto made his presence known. Hey! Naruto Uzumaki is here. It is about time, you idiot. Kiba yelled from his hanging spot. Yeah. The blonde commented as he took a vine from the tree and swung down. I am going to kick your. He didn't get to say much else as the vine broke and he belly flopped in the water. Kiba would have face-palmed himself if he could while the attacker's sweat dropped. Huh, what was that? Asked a guy with wild white hair and green face paint. Just an idiot. Kiba grumbled. Hey, tough luck kid, said a masked man. Hey, who's playing? Naruto said as he surfaced only to smirk and poof away as the real Naruto rushed out of the water, pushed the little girl away because the man thought it was time for her to die. Naruto got stabbed in the back. The blonde played dead till they were upon him. He sprung up and attacked the masked man. While the two of them were fighting, the old dude picked up the little girl, muttering about trying this again. Soon, after some more fight and talking, Shibuki finally came down to fight. It seemed the guy drank some of the water because he fought with a lot of power. Of course that was not enough because of the older man's experience. That is when Naruto stepped back in the fight. He did his best, but Suian drank the water as well and was now fast and power hungry. Drinking that water was bad because it attracted attention of an unwanted guest. Sure power, you have more power than before and it is delicious. A dark voice echoed as a giant creature with a white mask jumped on the water. Damn, a hollow. Naruto growled out. This was not just any hollow, it was a Manos. The mac on this thing was that of a horn beetle. What the hell? Shouted Suian as the hollow came up to him and the chakra overtook the hollow and fused the two freaks together, making the hollow stronger. Hey, seems I got more power, time to die, kid. No. I don't think so, Naruto said as he took his sword out and called out, come from the void of nothingness, Zemnas. The blade turned into its cannon blade form, and before the hollow could even move, Naruto called, Vortex Wave. A vortex of pure wind energy charged toward the freakish hollow and tore off its left arm. Before the hollow could recover, Naruto was on him and sent the blade right into its face, leapt over and brought the blade down, slicing the creature in half. Don't mess with me, Naruto said as the creature disappeared to leaving a dead Suion in its place. A few hours later. Well, I am glad to be getting out of this village, Kiba said, a little annoyed. Shino just nodded to that sentiment. Well, I will see you back in Konoha then, I have a mission from the Hokage I have to take. Naruto said. Yeah, see you then. Kiba waved off. Search us out when you get back, it would be good for us to train together. Shino replied. You got it. Once the two left, Shibuki, still in his bandages, said, if you need to rest for your next mission, I would like it if you stayed here, you saved us after all. It would be the least we could do. I would like that, Shibuki. Holy crap. What happened here? Yelled a female voice. Shibuki cringed and Naruto turned around to see a real beauty. She had green hair, pink eyes, a tank top of sorts with a headband on her shoulder like Shikamaru's, a skirt, arm warmers, and tanned skin. The blonde blushed and asked, who are you? I am Fu, Shibuki's half-sister. Oh, so that is what happened. Fu said after she heard what had happened from his brother. Currently they were in Shibuki's office. I knew I should not have gone on that mission. I bet Suion was waiting for me to leave so he could attack. She scowled at the thought of that man. Yeah, well, it couldn't be helped. Shibuki said with a frown and that turned into a smile as he addressed Naruto next. So, you have another mission to be done, does it have to be done right away? Well, no, I just got to go to Suna soon for some reason. Naruto said, not really telling them the mission details. I see, well, in a few days, the village is holding a festival and I would like you to be the guest of honor. Shibuki said while Fu looked at him oddly. What do I have to do? Asked Naruto curiously. Well, since this is the 100th year festival, you get to get the water from the tree and take one sip. Shibuki stated. And you want me to do that? Yes, with Fu as your date. Shibuki just gave an innocent smile at their shocked faces. He could tell that Fu highly respected Naruto after he told her what happened, and it seemed that Naruto had gained a bit of a crush on the girl. Fu was a little shaken at this and glared at her brother. He knew what she was getting on about and gave a slight nod as he knew he would have to tell Naruto. The smile disappeared and he gave Naruto an evil big brother glare. But I must tell you one thing, and if you hurt her, I will hurt you back. Okay, Naruto said, a little freaked. My sister Fu is special to me in this village in the sense that she is the demon container for the seven-tailed horned beetle. The village leader said in all seriousness. Fu looked at Naruto for any signs of ill intent and found none of that. Instead she found a sad smile, not what she expected. Glad to see I was not alone in that. That comment shocked the sibling. What do you mean, was? Shibuki asked. Think about it, I am from Konoha. I had the Kyuubi in me, but it unlocked my bloodlines for me and well, it died. Its extra chakra turned into these swords. Naruto said while showing them the blades. For Fu this was a shocker and her Biju was not helping any. The hell? The Kyuubi is not that charitable, unless. Those swords, could they be the sword of the Shinigami? The hell are you babbling about? That boy is last of the old Shinigami, he must be the one the king of Shinigami talked about all those years ago. If that is true, then the time of the Biju is at an end, okay. While Fu was having an internal conversation, Shibuki said, that is great. I thought this was going to be a problem, but it won't. Yeah, but are you sure you want me to do this? Yes. You saved the village. The leader stated. All right then. Naruto replied, so Fu, would you like to go to the festival with me? Naruto's voice brought Fu away from the Biju in her mind and she smiled with a small blush. Sure. I would like that. Fu then ran out of the room to go get ready. Shibuki chuckled at this. Hey, let's hope this works out for her. Yeah, I have a question. Ask away. What do I do on a date? Naruto asked as Shibuki and his hidden Anbu all face vaulted. This is going to a long 2 days, the village leader thought with dismay. 2 days later. After Naruto helped out with setting up the festival, learning his part, and learning what to do on date, the blonde was ready to go. Shibuki gave Naruto a nice suit to wear. It was a white tuxedo and it attracted a lot of attention on his way to meet Fu in the park. When he reached the park, he saw Fu and he felt like he could not breathe. Fu was wearing a long green dress that had white stripes running down it. It matched her hair very well. She looked beautiful in his eyes. Wow, you look beautiful. Naruto said as he walked up to her. It got the desired effect as she blushed bright red and said, "Thank you Naruto, you look very handsome in that suit." Naruto smiled as he then led her through the festival, winning her stuffed animals from the various game stands in their ways. Ironically, most of the prizes they won were foxes or odd cartoon bugs. Soon they made it to an outdoor restaurant and sat down to eat. After ordering their food, Naruto decided to speak his mind. "Fu, I need to ask you something." "Yes, what is it?" "Well, in the few months that I have been a genin, I have done a lot of research and sealing work. There is a group out there that is known as Akatsuki that wants the demons that people like us hold. I want to know if you want to form our own little group as I find the other demon containers." Fu blinked and said, "That is a good idea and I have heard of this Akatsuki from traveling merchants. Both good and bad stories are what I hear. So, what do you know of seals that could help us?" Naruto smirked and said, "2 seals so far. The first one is where I could bet on you and we could communicate over long distances and we can keep track of each other. It could be our organization's symbol I guess you could say. The second seal is something else I can put on you and it slowly turned Ubiju into a sword like mine and converts the chakra into spirit energy." "Wow, sounds pretty good, but we should tell Shibuki later about this," Fu suggested. "Other than that, I think it is the best idea to use against those that want to harm us." Naruto smiled and after an hour or so, we see our favorite couple near the lake, where they see ninja dancing on the water to a slow song. He smiled and held out his hand. "Would you like to dance?" Yes I would," Fu said with a blush. As they stepped out onto the water, it seemed that time seemed to just stop for them as they danced the night away. Shibuki, who was dancing with his girlfriend, smirked at them from his spot. His sister needed someone and he hoped it was Naruto. Fu looked into Naruto ocean-like eyes and felt herself getting pulled into them, they were just so alluring to her. Naruto felt the same way about her eyes as he too leaned in. They met in the middle with a soft and passionate kiss. "Ah, my larva is making the transition into adulthood. I am so proud." The 7-tailed bug in Fu's head cried out, ruining the moment for her. "Shut it. I am trying to enjoy this." When they pulled back, Naruto spoke his mind. "Wow, that was great." "Yep," Fu whispered as she leaned in for another kiss, neither of them noticing the fireworks going off in the distance because they were dealing with the ones in the kiss. Shibuki and his girlfriend watched this with happy smiles. "Way to go Naruto, you made her happy," he said as he leaned in to kiss his own girl. Midnight. Naruto and Fu stood on the stage next to the big tree where they will extract the hero's water. He did just as Shibuki and Fu taught him and channeled his chakra into a spot on the tree and guiding it with his chakra into the small jug that it was carried in. After he was done, Shibuki nodded to Fu and she gave Naruto a small amount of the water and then jumped away. The blonde was confused at first but he soon understood why as he already massive chakra grew bigger and was swirling around him. Normally, if someone drank the water, their lifespan would shorten, but if they drank it right after they extracted it, they get the chakra from the tree itself and expand their lifespan by a few years. Though nobody expected this result as his eyes turned into the Uzugan and he held his head in pain before tree root grew around him and then shot upward. The green energy shot down on the blonde and then everything went back to normal. Naruto fell on his hands and knees, panting. Fu rushed to his side and asked, "Are you okay?" Yeah, but it seems that I just absorbed the power of a true Mokuden user, well that it was my eyes tell me. Who was the true Mokuden user? Shibuki asked. The one who taught the Shodaime Hokage and created the tree, but his name has been lost to the tree and history. Naruto said as he slowly got back up and smiled at Fu. The next day, at the waterfall. Like I said, I am glad you started this organization and helped my sister. Now if you get banished like you said you would because of the idiot council and the elders, you are to back here first before you go find that Soul Society place. The leader of the hidden waterfall village said to their hero. You got it and I will be back to visit when I get the chance. Naruto said as Fu walked up to him and gave him a passionate kiss. I will miss you. Naruto said as he hugged her. So will I, but duty calls. Fu smiled as she melted into the hug and reluctantly let go. As he was leaving, Shibuki has an idea and smiled. Like you, he is still a genin. So you'll be seeing him soon. I hope so. Fu replied as she watched Naruto's retreating from. Naruto sighed as he walking through the desert to the sand village. Getting will be simple my. Naruto ranted as he took out the map and growling. Yeah, thanks for the map grandpa. The desert looks the same from all directions. He yelled to the heavens. So, as he continued, a few ninja appeared in front of him. He looked at them for a good few seconds before he was the headbands and smiled. The leader smirked and said, well kid, I can't believe the Hokage sent you to help us with our problem, you were in that genjutsu for hours. The others just chuckled at his. Naruto's eye twitched before he exploded. Yeah, I kind of figured that out, but I though the Hokage said you could dispel them pretty easily. The leader of the group said with a raised eyebrow. Yeah well, I'm not that great at detect them but he is right. Naruto then smirked and activated his Uzugen, shocking the ninja and the genjutsu was blown apart to show that he was at the front gates of the sand village. Oh come on. I was in front of this place the whole time. He yelled, very pissed off as the guards fell on the sand ground, laughing their asses off. Hey, well it does not matter anymore, we were just toying with you with a genjutsu that was beyond you level. I hate you. Naruto said as he deactivated his Uzugen and started walking with the ninja to the cage tower in the middle of the village. The man chuckled as he led him through the village till they got to the cage's office. Once there, the veiled Kage looked up and zeroed in on the ninja next to Naruto. You should have cancelled the genjutsu after the first hour, 4 hours is just annoying. Leave now. The Kage ordered, ticked at his prankster ninja. When the man left, the Kage